Here is my first car project I have ever done. I was very excited to get into this, and I've always wanted to do a project car. So this is a little video on how that went. So I got this car from my friend for $100, and what you're seeing here is when I first brought it home to the shop. The battery was dead, so I had to charge it up, and that's what you'll see here. This is my first impression of trying to get the car on to put it in the shop. We got the car charger plugged into the battery. Yeah, I don't know what this is. A carburetor, maybe? I don't know. Do you see all the oil though? I don't know what that means. This is different than what I've been looking at. The videos show the parts, the cylinder heads up here. So this is when I realized and was kind of confused on the layout of the engine. I was under the impression this was just a standard V6. However, after doing a bunch of research, I was very wrong. And everything that I was reading on how simple it would be to fix the leaking valve covers, replace the timing belt, everything that I was reading was for a different engine. So I was a little bit foolish and not doing my due diligence on researching this vehicle. Timing belt is underneath this. So I have to take the alternator off, move this, disconnect a bunch of stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm kind of excited. I was very excited. I was super excited. So after I got it charged, I was able to quickly drive it into the shop. And this is when I started kind of getting my hands into it and figuring out what was going on. So off the get-go, I knew that the oil pan leaked, both valve covers leaked, and it needed a new timing belt. So what I ended up doing was I filled it up with oil, and I started the car to see how it would sound. Okay, so after I started the car for like the first time, there was like a ticking noise, and I thought it was from the exhaust because I know exhaust leaks make ticking noises while it's running. After I dropped the exhaust, I started it again, and that's when I heard a knock noise, and I was like, this is not good. But I wasn't sure if it was just super low on oil or it was trying to knock out all the gunk that was in there because the engine was super full of gunk. Anyway, so after I dropped the oil pan, this is what I found inside of it. These are copper shavings from a bearing. I wasn't sure where the bearing was from. I wasn't sure if it was a rod bearing or if it was a main bearing. And this led to the conclusion that I need to pull the engine. This is the first car I wasn't supposed to pull an engine out and try to tear it down, right? Okay, so it looks like a mess. We got the air intake over there. We got the radiator out. I did the whole fuel rail, pulled that over here. So these are the fuel injectors right there. Yeah, so I'm almost ready to pull it. I gotta take a couple more hoses off, and then I have to do the engine mount bolts, and then Oh, and then I have to go into the car and then disconnect some stuff from the transmission. But this is crazy. I don't know what I'm doing, dude. Yeah, so I had no idea what I was doing. First time for everything. So this led me to getting the engine hoist and the engine stand to hold the block once I pull it out. So here's the engine outside of the car. I was pretty happy. It was a pain in the neck because I was just out there doing it by myself. I have it supported under some pallets. And this is the engine holder I got from my good friend neighbor. Right around this time, as I was disassembling and removing the heads, this is when I came to the decision that I need to get the heads resurfaced and the block resurfaced, cleaned up, before I put everything back. Doing my due diligence and carefully removing parts and laying them out in the order I took them off. One of the things I had to take off was the flex plate, which sits in between the, like, this is what connects the transmission and the engine, the crank. These bolts were the most difficult bolts I had to take off. They're these weird shaped stars. My sockets stripped 2 of them. I could not for the life of me get these last 2 off. But what I had to do was grind with a grinder wheel, grind the heads off so I could just pop the heads. Once I was able to grind the heads off, I was able to get the flex plate removed, and I was worried about how do I get the studs out now that there's no heads. How do I get leverage? To my surprise, and how funny it was, they were finger loose after it was all said and done. You've got to be. That's crazy. So after I was able to get the flex plate off, I was able to continue on my adventure of completely stripping the block down. This is one of the main bearings, and this is what pretty much exploded and shredded the pieces inside, and this is what was shown near the beginning. This is where those copper shavings were from in the oil pan, was this specific bearing. So here's everything lined out. Everything's completely stripped out of the block. The block is basically just the block. It's completely removed. The pistons, the rods, the crank, everything's out of it. And yeah, I was ready to take it to the shop to have everything resurfaced. So after I got everything all stripped down, I took the block in to an engine shop and took both the heads, and they said, well, we can do this for, you know, this price. And I was like, okay. And they said, so are you sure you're able to find parts for this?